Hey everyone, welcome back to the second episode of the States Royalty Father Daughter podcast.
Podcast.
And we still haven't come up with a name yet, so if you have one, let us know. But in the meantime, thanks for watching our first one. And if you haven't watched it, make sure you go back. But for the second one, we thought we'd do a reaction video to a TikTok that you showed me.
Yes.
And it's about
It's about all the different high schools in Hawaii and how they are now, and we're gonna see if they are the same of
as when I went to high school in Hawaii, because Nai is born in Las Vegas, and so she's
born and raised.
yeah, and so she's from the Ninth Island. They call Las Vegas the Ninth Island, and so because there's eight main Hawaiian islands, there's more than that, but there's eight main Hawaiian islands, and because there's so many locals that live in Las Vegas, they call it the Ninth Island. So this video she's gonna play for me, and I'll let her know because she doesn't know a lot about Hawaii. Unfortunately, we'll talk about how it was when I went to high school because I grew up there, and we'll see if some of the things are still the same or if things have changed.
I went to Punahou. Of course, I live in Hawaii Kai and shop at Whole Foods. I went to Mililani. Of course, I transferred here to play sports. I went to Campbell. Of course, I have EQ speakers and I wear fur coats. I went to St. Louis. Of course, we're a private school with a public school campus. I went to Waianae. Of course, I have a gold chain and I chicken fight on Saturdays. I went to Kamehameha. Of course, I'm Mahu. Aloha. I went to Kahuku. Of course, I'm Mormon. I went to Radford. Of course, my family's in the military, and I'm Popolo.
Okay, so Punahou is a rich school, and so Punahou and Iolani, where I went to, is similar to Bishop Gorman and Faith Lutheran in Vegas. And so it's Punahou was back then was known as where the rich kids went. And there was a lot of Caucasians that went to Punahou. And so he said, of course I go to Punahou and I shop at Whole Foods.
Yeah.
And so that makes sense because Whole Foods is very expensive.
Very expensive.
And so I figure especially in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And so, yes, in order to shop at Whole Foods in Hawaii, mostly it would be kids that go to Punahou. And so, as a matter of fact, we have that new segment that we're doing where we, spend my brother's YouTube money, and we hope he can earn enough money one day
So I can go shop at Whole Foods.
to shop at Whole Foods. Yeah, not yet, but we're getting there.
Soon.
So yeah, please subscribe to his channel and watch all the ads. No skipping ads.
I went to Mililani. Of course, I transferred here to play sports.
Okay, so Mililani is in the middle of the island, and Mililani back then had a bunch of different little cities like Mililani, Mauka, and all this kind of feed into one school, Mililani. And so that's why it was probably one of the, back then, it was probably one of the biggest population-wise schools. And it probably had the most, it was probably one of the high schools that had the most students in that school for a public school. And so Mililani had a lot of choices in terms, I think they were pretty good at baseball back then. But yeah, so Mililani would have a bunch of students that would go there. And so they had a lot of potential athletes that went there. And so another thing too is back then there's private school and public school, and there was two sports leagues. So OIA was public school and ILH was private school. And back then they wouldn't play each other. And so ILH private schools would play against private schools, and OIA public schools would play against public schools. And so the only time they would ever really play against each other was for like state championships, where the winner of the ILH would play the winner of the OIA. And a lot of times that was in football. And so it would be St. Louis versus, some public school. I think a lot of times it was Mililani that played for state championships. I'm not sure how it was back then. But yeah, it was, Mililani is a big school. And my cousin went to Mililani. And yeah, it's a good school. I guess they're pretty good at sports now, so that's good.
I went to Campbell. Of course, I have EQ speakers and I wear fur coats.
Okay, so I don't know much about Campbell High School, but um, I guess what do you say? EQ speakers,
And fur
fur
coats.
coats. Okay, so EQ speakers. I assume he's talking about stereo systems, and so we like stereo systems. And when I moved to Vegas for college, I had a car and I was running two 15 subwoofers with an amp, a crossover, and back then we had what's called detachable face radios or decks. I don't know what it's called now, and I don't know if detachable face is still something, but back then a lot of times people would steal the radio. And so to prevent that, you would have to get a detachable face where you could just take the face of the radio off and you would take it with you rather than taking the whole radio. You just take a small little face with you, and that would deter potentially someone from trying to break into your car and stealing it. But so I guess Campbell has a bunch of kids that are into stereos and cars. Yeah, I guess so. That's cool. As far as fur coats, though, I don't know what that refers to. But
Me either.
but if you do know what fur coats refers to, please let us know in the comments.
Yeah, let us know.
I don't know. Maybe fur coats means it's cold out there. I don't know. Fur coats. But anyway, yeah. So if you do know what it is, please let us know in the comments.
I went to St. Louis. Of course, we're a private school with a public school campus.
Okay, so St. Louis is a private school, and back then, I think they still are now, but they were good in football, right? And so they would recruit, and they'd be good at football. And so, but I've been to the St. Louis campus, and I think it's on a hill, on top of a hill, and from what I remember, it was a decent campus. I don't know, maybe it's gone downhill. He said it, St. Louis is a private school campus. It's a private school, but with a public school campus.
Yeah.
So I don't know what he means by that. Maybe the campus went downhill a little bit, but from what I remember, it was a nice campus, and no issues with people from there. So I don't know what he means by that. Again, if you know what that means, let us know.
I went to Waianae. Of course, I have a gold chain and I chicken fight on Saturdays.
Okay, so Waianae, again, I don't know much about Waianae either, but it's on the opposite island of where I live. But Waianae has, your mom would know more about Waianae, but they have a homestead there, and so they, what do you say, gold chains. So
Gold chains.
I don't know if it is back then, but a lot of times in Hawaii, people would have big gold chains. I actually still have one. They call it rope chains back then, and so it wasn't that bad. I mean, so there's some really big ones now, like what the rappers wear.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they would wear rope chains, and I guess that's still a thing out there. And they would do chicken fights. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
chicken
So
fights.
I went to when I was going to I was going to the gym with this guy that I think he had a couple birds that do chicken fights, and so he would tell me a little bit. I've never been to one, but he was saying how I guess they put claws or they put metal things on top of their talons or whatever you want to call it, and so they would release the birds and they would fight and people would bet on it. And so he was saying that a lot of times they would have to drive. It's not like it's on a road. It's not like it's on a house on the main drag and they're just doing it in the front yard, right? Because it's illegal. And so he said that he would have to drive through like jungle to go get to the chicken fights. And they would have it. I think he said it was on Sundays, but yeah, they would drive to these chicken fights, and I guess he would bet. I mean, sometimes you make a lot of money, sometimes you would lose, but yeah, it was interesting, and I guess it still goes on there, and I guess Waianae is where it happens, huh? According to this.
I guess.
Yeah, chicken fights and gold chains. Well, again, if that's what it is, let us know. Let us know in the comments.
I went to Kamehameha. Of course, I'm Mahu. Aloha.
Okay, so Kamehameha is a private school, right? You have to be part of Hawaii to get there. You could go there, actually. And I don't know what... You said you've seen some TikToks?
I saw some TikToks from some people there, and they just
They're pretty normal?
pretty normal
Yeah.
from what I saw, but it was only like one.
Yeah. So when I was going to... I actually went to UNLV with some kids from Kamehameha, and we're still friends with with them today, and I don't know. They seem pretty normal to me. I don't know what the stigma is now, or if there's some kind of stereotype about. Is he talking about the hair, or is he talking about? I don't know. But yeah, so Kamehameha back then was a good school. It was a private school. They were pretty good in sports, and I don't know what he meant by that's how it is now. But again, if that's how it is now, let us know, because I have no idea if that's changed or not.
I went to Kahuku. Of course I'm Mormon.
Okay, so Kahuku is a school up in the North Shore, and it's a very small, close-knit town. And my cousin went to Kahuku, and they have a really good football team. I don't know if it was good back then when I was going to high school, but it's definitely good now.
Oh yeah.
And so we actually did the shirts for Kahuku when they came up and played Bishop Gorman in Vegas. And this was 3-4 years ago. It was a while ago.
No, it was like way longer than 3-4 years.
Really? Because I know, because we went to a place and you got ice cream, and we took a picture with you in the Kahuku shirt.
Yeah.
And so we printed those shirts, and it was a good game. We actually sat on I don't know which side we sat on, the Bishop Gorman side or the
No, we sat on the Kahuku
Kahuku side, yeah. And so, but anyway, I know Kahuku comes up and plays here football a lot, but the reason why he's saying that they're all Mormon is because Kahuku is a very Polynesian. They're filled with a lot of Polynesian people, and so a lot of Polynesians are Mormon, and so that's why he's probably saying, "Of course I'm Mormon," because there's a bunch of Polynesian people there, and I don't know if there's a lot of other types of people there, but yeah, a lot of Polynesians are Mormon. That's why he's probably saying that.
I went to Radford. Of course my family's in the military, and I'm Popolo.
Okay, so Radford is a school that's near the military bases, kind of in I think it's Aiea or Pro City area, and so they've always had a place where their whole school is made up of a lot of military people, and so by Popolo he means black, right?
Black.
Popolo translates to black, and so he's talking about African American people, and so the biggest concentration of African American people a lot of them went to Radford, because you had African Americans scattered throughout, but
Yeah.
the concentration of them was at Radford, so that's why he says, "Of course I'm Popolo." Yeah, and so that's why he's saying,
Of course
that
my family's in the
military,
military.
right? Because a lot of the military people, a lot of the kids from the military families go to Radford, because a lot of them stay on or around the bases, and so that's why Radford was they had a lot of military kids there.
Okay, so that was the first video. So that was part 1 of all the schools in Hawaii high schools in Hawaii.
And how things have changed.
Yeah.
Things have changed a lot, and so it's been a while since I've been back home. Nahi goes home a lot, but not as much as we should.
Yeah.
But we go home a lot, but she doesn't. I mean, I know the ins and outs of Hawaii schools as she would know as same as Vegas.
Yeah.
Since you grew up here and you go to school here, you kind of know. But yeah, comment and let us know if these are correct assumptions, or I know the guy was just having fun and it was a fun video, but shout out to him for making it, and let us know if these are right on or not.
Well, thank you for watching the second episode of our States Royalty Father-Daughter podcast, and please be sure to subscribe.